going here. Boom, boom, boom. And like I said, we'll keep it simple. We won't see. We're here though, but let's give this a second here to get this going. Bada bang, boom. And I think what we'll do here, Chief. Boom. We'll do one of these. Shadavim. Bada boom. And Chief,
so
Matthew,
relaxed.
down.
In the flesh, brother.
Yeah.
First podcast.
Is it really your first?
Man, first
I didn't
one.
know. Well, you were someone that, I mean, let's take it from the top. If you don't know who this fine gentleman is, then it's either a really good thing or you're just living under a rock. So our chief of police is in the house.
In your house.
In my house. And
cool.
you were so cool. And I'm honored that I didn't have to hustle you, man. I was just sent a nice little note. I said, when the time's right.
Time is right.
And I thought, and I mean this sincerely, what you guys are already doing on the behalf of the PD here with the videos you're doing and the communication factor.
Absolutely.
Dude, you guys are on point. So I said, what a great time. I was laying in bed the other day. I said, you know what? With the 4th coming up and probably a lot of things to talk about, why not give you an opportunity to hit it? So first and foremost, thanks for coming. And before I forget, no joke, I had a phone call today from a dear friend of mine who runs Flagler Chiropractic.
Oh, awesome.
And he was like, man, just on the behalf of me, and I speak for a lot of people that knew you were coming, we are so appreciative of what you guys are doing, man.
I appreciate it, Chenzo.
And I mean that.
It's an honor and a privilege to work in this city. You know, you come here to work every day, and then you work with amazing, amazing people. And I'm not just talking about the folks that work with me at the PD. I mean the community.
Right.
They just embrace what we're doing and trying to keep our little, slice of Americana the way it should be, nice and safe, that you have access to the folks that if you have a question, just come down and see me or call me on the phone or watch a podcast. So, dude,
you're so available.
Absolutely.
And I don't know. I know we're all a little bit spoiled living in this beautiful town, but you helped me out so much even when we were going through the hurricane kerfuffle, I think phase 2. Yeah. And I mean, to have your personal cell through that situation. And I hope that I was cool with it because I didn't try to abuse it. But I mean, you helped me out so much on a personal level. And I'm sure this show is going to resonate with a lot of people because even the people that you got working with you are just like, and that was saying on the behalf of Dr. Adam, I guess there was a kerfuffle going on yesterday with something, and you guys were like right on it.
Yeah.
You guys made it a point to go up to them and like talk to the homeowners and just like, I don't know, man, I could go on about it for days, but I really appreciate that. So I wanted to start off by saying thank you so much. But dude, if anything happens too, we're like literally live. So if you get a call or anything, like you got to do you got a city to protect.
If it blows up and I got to go, but
okay.
That little deal yesterday was the epitome of if you see something, say something.
Right.
It was the news journal delivery folks sending it, putting papers out, throwing their papers out. And they saw a couple of guys that just didn't look right. So they called the police. Our officers wound up finding them. They had broken into at least 2 cars that we know of and to a house that was under construction.
Was this during the day too?
It started in the morning. It started about 5 o'clock in the morning. And then we wound up arresting them. And then we arrested one and then went back and found the second one.
Hell yeah.
I got full confessions off of them. One of the individuals was wanted out of Sarasota. So, again, see something, say something. Right. Detective Vinci got involved. The patrol officers that worked that night, Sergeant Yelvington and Officer Cazone, did a phenomenal job.
I love the Cazone.
You gotta love the Cazone. He's
so great. And you have there's a newer. I'm sure he's not that greenhorn anymore, but he was a younger guy, handsome looking dude too. He was taller.
His name is Dylan Sylvester.
Awesome.
What's crazy is his father was my first sergeant in Daytona Beach.
Get out of town.
Back in 1989. And I taught Dylan at the academy. So to see him grow up, to see him mature, to see him become what he's always wanted to be, he's doing an incredible job. He's going to school. He's committed to education. He's going to get his bachelor's degree here in probably the next 2 years. So,
awesome. Yeah,
he's on the right track.
I had the pleasure of meeting him. I was under the wrong circumstances, but no, he's a great guy, man. He was really super chill. And I would say, do I say it right? Is it Officer Rain or Rainey? Is she still?
No, Krista Rainey. She was with us. I taught Krista in the academy too.
Okay.
She left about 3 years ago.
Oh, it's been that long?
Yeah, it's been that long. And she's actually a deputy over in Flagler County.
Okay.
So she actually stopped by the PD a couple weeks ago to just, peek her head in and say hi. She's always part of the family. And so we've got some new officers. We got a new officer, Evan Shear, that's training right now. I
saw that.
That's training with Sheriff Staly's deputies. Sheriff Staly hired a class. They hire like 8 or 9 at a time.
Yep.
And then he allows our officer to go through the same training that they go through. So they all learn how to do the computer together. They all learn firearms and taser and all those high liability areas and driving and how to find their way around the county. So
it's a family.
It is a family. And again, Sheriff Staly is gracious enough to let our officers do it. And, we've got his folks coming in for the 4th of July. Chief Foster's folks are coming in.
Yeah, you guys communicate really, really well.
The 3 of us get along. Fantastic.
I would imagine yesterday, without going into too much detail, yesterday was a prime example of two forces working together in the midst of a situation quickly.
And we share information. It's free flowing. So what we have, we give to the sheriff's office in Bunnell, and they share information because bad guys don't follow lines on a map. They don't care what jurisdiction they're in. So, why should we? So we share that information with our brothers and sisters in the county, outside the county. We've got great relationships. We got cops coming from Daytona for the 4th of July. So
it's awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
We there was such a great story because I got to meet and I was working alongside with Evan's father.
Yeah,
I get the MO. Someone's looking for an apartment somewhere in Flagler, and you know how this town works. It's like all word of mouth. It wasn't corporate at all. I got in touch with who's like another grandmother to me who used to rent to me, who I bought this house from, ironically had an apartment come up for rent like literally 48 hours before.
Oh, that's
and you know how Flagler rentals are.
Oh, absolutely.
So I never met Evan yet, but I literally get in touch with, the father. I'm like, dude, this lady is like going to be the best landlord you can imagine. So it was a win-win. And she was stoked to know that obviously someone in the PD with integrity, has a job, et cetera.
And only living a couple blocks away from the PD and he's doing a great job. So I taught Evan at the academy.
Did you really him too?
We taught him as well. And he was being recruited heavily by the Volusia County Sheriff's Office.
Another young.
So
huge career ahead of him.
He really from just before the academy started, I'd met him a couple times at the college because he was teaching out at the college.
Okay.
And he was very interested in Flagler Beach. He's a local and really, they were pushing hard to bring him to Volusia, but his heart was in Flagler Beach. And
we got him now.
We at a commission meeting the other night, I said, we're like the Florida Gators. We flipped a 4-star recruit from Alabama and brought him to the Gator Nation. So he's going to be in training till August, mid-August.
Awesome.
But he'll be out on the 4th of July. So if you get a chance to come down, he'll be out there patrolling with one of his field training officers.
Give him a high five.
We do have another officer. We had Krista Rain. We have another officer that came from Port Orange, Kayla Scott. Now it's Kayla Rains.
Nice.
Everybody there does just an incredible job. I couldn't be happier to work with a blessed group of people that they get it.
Right.
They get it.
You guys get along so well. That's
because we spend more time with each other than we do with our own family.
It's amazing.
And, we don't always agree on stuff all the time. And sometimes, the decisions that, come down, but
that's what makes a family though.
That's what makes a family, but they know, I'll never ask them to do anything that I won't do first, whether it's ride a bike or get soaked on the beach with buckets.
That's what I was. So these videos, if you guys don't know about it, I'm going to tag the Facebook page on there. There should be 0 complaints, which I haven't heard anyways, but what you guys are doing on the behalf of educating and broadcasting what's happening from an internal perspective of the city, it's fantastic, man. And you're having fun with it. For those that don't know, so Chief,
having a blast.
Chief had gotten you gave like a couple hot tips for like the 4th, and at the end you got.
And I got So I told my captain, Lance Blanchett, I said, hey, listen, today we're going to go down to the beach and we're going to film a video. He said, oh, okay, what do you need me to do? I said, just bring buckets of water and get 4 or 5 people. You guys are going to dump buckets of water on me. So nobody said no.
How many buckets?
Yeah, how many buckets do we need? And
so then, is this something you're coming up with, Chief? Like you're like feeling propelled to just like, hey, let's do this thing. Let's stay in touch with these people.
It's just my personality. I love it. Trying to law enforcement sometimes get a really, really hard knock that we're not real people.
Right.
So when you can show that, yeah, you mean business, but there is a lighter side.
Right.
And who better to make fun of me than me? So to let people know, I consider our officers, not just law enforcement officers, we're ambassadors for the city.
That's awesome.
So the stuff that we're doing on Facebook and social media, especially with this A1A project, to let everybody know, hey, the city's open. We need you here. We want you here. Our businesses really are going through a tough time, especially on A1A.
Mm-hmm.
So why not showcase all that this small little town has to offer? And
right.
The men and women that go out there every day do a great job. So.
Amen, man. Well, I think
we're having fun.
That's the point. Is like but here we are, right? Like how many? I'm biased because I think that we have the best town in the world, our little town. But you're taking upon yourself on the behalf of not only protecting and stuff, but you're also like using it as a medium to educate. And we are like, obviously, if you don't know, then any business that's on A1A or just Flagler in general, get out here, support if you can. Like, we need your help. And it's this A1A it's been a headache, but you guys are really doing a good job of educating. Like, hey, this is open, this isn't,
right.
And it's fantastic. I think too, one of the things I was going to ask you, just like out of my own curiosity, and what can we do from just like you said earlier in the show, you said like from a civilian standpoint, what did you say? It was really good. It was like, if you see something, say something, basically, right?
Right. If you see something that doesn't look right, just call dispatch.
Right.
Because sometimes they're reported 2 or 3 days later. Oh, I saw something,
and it's already 48 hours later.
It's 48 hours,
right.
And it's our city manager's got a good sense of humor. So I told him one day that I was going to request a DeLorean for the budget so that we could go back to the future to solve crime.
Good.
No, but if you see something, say something. And the other one is every Friday night I put out something about keeping your car locked.
Right.
It's crimes of opportunity. And yeah, we do have a very safe town, but there are those people in society that will come into a small town to try to prey on people that will leave their cars either unlocked or the windows down. Right. And then they just leave their valuables in plain sight. So those are we're big on preventing crime as well.
Right. Being proactive about it.
Be proactive. So, 9:00 on Friday night, make sure your doors are locked.
Right.
Even when you're home, make sure if you have a garage door, make sure it's down and locked, because all it takes is someone to ride down the street, go into your garage while you're home.
I know. Well, that's what happened yesterday.
And the next thing you know, you come walking out and it's, it's a home invasion and things go south. So,
well, I think too, as Flagler folk, we're a little spoiled. We're still used to that old school,
it's
leave doors unlocked.
It's the old Florida charm.
Yeah.
And, it's 2019 and that's why we try to put that message out.
Right.
And just reinforce it. Crime was down almost 12% last year.
I was going to say about that.
Which is 3 years in a row, crime's down and our clearance rate's up. So the crimes that are happening, we're solving
amazing
at a really good rate. And then the numbers are going down. And
those are our numbers?
Those are our numbers and in the county.
Amazing. Because I know, by the way, you beat them. Sheriff Staly's coming on next week. So you got him beat.
I just saw we were at a call this morning on the way back from the Emergency Operations Center. They had a call, and Sheriff and I got there, and he deputized myself and the captain. So
nice.
Pretty cool. He got there first. He beat me by about 30 seconds. So.
But your guys' statistics are, and it goes without saying too, man, like being a human, like I love how you try to make it to like, hey, we're still humans. I know that, quote unquote, there's haters out there. So it's always surprising to me that, statistics are speaking. And once again, me being a resident here, we're ecstatic. But I could say this too, in closing, in regards to like from a civilian standpoint, is there anything that that you see that there is a disconnect, or are we pretty, again, anything we could be doing?
No, the town's pretty dialed in as far as, crime and those type of things. It's it's the small little things.
Little good things, yeah.
That sometimes when you talk to a victim, and we've got a great victim advocate program, and they're like, I can't believe that I lost that money. And the other one is phone frauds.
Oh,
over the telephone. We have a lot of folks that not a lot fall prey to it, but we have an older population.
I know.
And they're very trusting. It's still
surprising that still works.
There's only one reason they keep doing it, because they keep making money. And
Do you know of one that's going on that's hot right now? I used to keep up with it, but it's just like
they change. They're so fluid and dynamic.
Is it the tax one? The tax one's always hot.
The tax one's always season. Good. Leading up to March and April, and then right after, there's another one that's been going around. You'll get a phone call, and they're really good at ghosting numbers.
Of course, you get a 386.
So
for sure,
they can ghost just about any number they want.
Right.
They actually ghosted a phone number and called somebody, and the number that they ghosted was the Flagler Beach Police Department's phone number.
Spooky, man.
So it comes up as 386-517-2020, and it says the police department, you have a warrant out for your arrest.
And these poor older folk are like freaking, and and correct me if I'm wrong, but the purpose is to extort them. So they're like, hey, send in this fee. That's all. It's all about a money driven.
It's all about money.
Send this fee in using some kind of digital way, whether it's a PayPal or a
PayPal,
money
they
order.
Use those green dot credit cards.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what they'll do is they'll tell you to go buy $500 worth of debit, automatic debit cards.
Yep.
And then they'll call back, and then you give them the number on the front, and then the access codes on the back.
And they're good.
I
did just watch a documentary not too long ago on how rampant it still is. It's just surprising to me that you're like you said though, Chief. It's like it's working because we have that. We have it, and it does freak you out. Given that playing devil's advocate, I mean, you get a number that says the police department. There's a warrant,
right?
But yeah, so that's going on.
Going on. Internet ones, you get an email that says you won the Nigerian lottery. There was one last year, maybe it was the year before, from Amazon. I don't know if you saw that one.
I don't know.
It was pretty inventive the way they did it. They sent an email saying that the package that you had ordered has been delayed in shipping. They need you to reconfirm the order.
Okay.
So the beauty of it was they made you enter your name, your credit card information again. And when you clicked it, it sent them the information, but it directed you back to the Amazon page itself. So when you looked at it,
you knew no different.
You didn't know any difference. And where they got people is they did it just before Christmas. So
everyone's ordering.
So when you buy your wife something, you get an email and you're like, oh, maybe she bought something for me on my card.
Right.
So then the couple would never talk about it.
Right.
And the next thing you know, you're out $400 or $500.
That was what was that? Like 6 months ago?
It was before last Christmas, maybe the year before. They're so inventive. But think about it. They sit in an air-conditioned building and just start making phone calls.
Yep.
And if they hit somebody for $5,000,
that's more money than most make in a month.
If they do that once a month, they make $60,000 a year.
Right. Well, a lot of that's coming from overseas countries, obviously, but it's still spooky. But I appreciate you, and that's really good to know. And
yeah, the thing is, don't give any personal information over the
phone.
They're going to say, hey, are you so and so? If you called me, you should know who you're calling. They've called us on our phones.
I'm sure.
I've gotten phone calls from scammers on my city phone
all day. Yeah. It's rampant. I've noticed that I used to be able to try to control it, and it stinks for most of us that are contractors that use our cells as means of communication. There's these apps you can get, these like robo killer apps.
Right.
But a lot of us have talked about it, and like we've lost business or we lose calls.
Right.
We've I run into you in the street, and you're like, yo, Chenzo, I tried calling you 5 times. I was like, no, you didn't. And like, damn it, this stupid, robo killer. So, but it's very good to keep it in the know. And then for those that have family and or relatives, in general that are older, keep them educated and whatnot.
Don't send anything. FBI, IRS, any of those, they don't call you.
Right.
So
you've seen the funny meme going around sometimes, and it's like, someone's going, we've been trying to reach you about your car warranty, and you're like being like a tropical island, and it's like on like a bottle. But so what do we got, Chief, coming up for the 4th? Because that was also too, I really appreciate you coming on to help spread the word of anything that's coming up. We've got, today's the 2nd, so we got 2 days, man. We're in it.
We
locked and loaded. We're confident.
Yeah, we're ready.
We're ready to go.
The first thing first is our partners. We could not pull this off without the partners that we have. The sheriff's office, law enforcement. We've got agents coming from Jacksonville.
Amazing.
Alcohol, beverage, and tobacco, just to address underage drinking.
Yep.
So I put that out, I want to say last Friday.
Okay.
We don't want to arrest underage kids, so we warned them in advance.
Right.
They just need to heed the warning. So if your plan is to come drink alcohol and cause problems and you're underage, you need to come up with plan B.
Right.
Either stay home or just don't come here. And again, our goal is not to arrest people, is to gain compliance.
Right.
So, Daytona Beach is coming. Bunnell sending folks. Emergency management is coming over, and they put some of their folks on in golf carts.
Okay.
And they're the hydration team, and they all day they just ride around handing out drinks to law enforcement. So it's water and Gatorade and power bars because the officers that day starts early. There's a 5K at 6 o'clock.
You guys are all suited up, and
so we're all suited
bathing
up.
Suits.
We've got sunblock. We got donations for that, and partnered with Woody's to feed our folks lunch, and the sheriff's office dispatch taking care of our dispatchers because they have long days too. So, it's just a very long, hot day.
It is, man.
So the time to hydrate, if you're coming to the 4th of July, is today.
Yep.
I know I'm drinking a soda right now, but that's courtesy of my administrative assistant, Dee, who I'm sure she's going to watch us. She is the bomb. She's the best.
She's taking care of you. Yeah, you didn't even need my soda, see?
I got a bottle of water.
I'll give it for you to go.
So it's those type of things, getting ready. The parade starts at 10.
Yes. Parade's at 10.
And the fireworks go off at 9 o'clock.
Now, the transportation, too, that you got, that's
transportation
amazing.
Is huge.
Is this our second year doing it?
This is the third year.
Which is
that
amazing.
Our city manager, he comes from a bigger place. He comes from Escambia. So he's worked major events, LPGA events, and he gets it. And
So for those that don't know, on a tangent real quick, the transportation leaves from, I think, Babcock Furniture.
Who's going to be open.
Ironically.
There,
so buy a couch.
Go in there and get a couch, get yourself a love seat or something.
Bring it to the beach. So you can park your cars there. You don't have to worry about the hustle and bustle of finding a spot in Flagler and everyone is angry. Park there. Now you guys I think we've got the real deal, like buses, like the cruise ship buses.
We've got the Mac Daddy of buses. They're the big coach liners. AC,
no room for complaints here, people. You got everything you need.
It's free. So they take you across the bridge. They turn right on Central Avenue. They drop you off right at Veterans Park.
Easy peasy.
So from 8 in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, there's 2 buses that run nonstop.
We're starting at 8?
At 8 in the morning. So,
boy, Chief.
So from 8 to 3, there's 2 buses.
Okay.
After 3 o'clock, there's 7 buses running. And they're going to run till probably 11:30 at night.
And from what I understand, was an amazing response in the last couple of years, seeing the fluidness of people being able to get off the, because that you've been here long enough that that last firework hits. It's like being at Disney.
And they want to go.
They want to get out.
So the beauty of it is, when they turn right, the buses, when you want to get back, the 7 buses line up, and then we take them via motorcycle escort across the bridge into Babcock.
Didn't even know that.
As soon as they dump, they come right back. Motorcycle.
They get police escort
all across the bridge both ways to come back. So
there's no delay, whatever.
There's no conflict. We send the buses straight down South 2nd Street. They turn right on Flagler, left right there at 100, and we want those buses to just continually go. So thanks to our city manager for having the belief that system would work, and it's yielded big dividends.
When I shared, everything you guys post gets a wonderful response because people really, I think, value the communication factor, and you're being personal about it. So it's like, even though it's not necessarily generating revenue, but it's great marketing, man. When you put a person behind there, and I try to tell people that, be as personable as you can, and it's amazing that you're not just like hiring a stand-in. It's you. No, you guys are talking about things that are serious. And I think it's fantastic that gets all these little things that you didn't know. So if there was any doubt, like, I'm not getting on no bus, it's police escort, man.
Right. You're thinking, you hear bus, you're thinking it's going to be
a school bus
with no AC. I mean, these are really, really nice.
Right.
Air conditioned, the kind of buses that if you're going to go watch the Hurricane Gator game over in Orlando, that's the bus you want to take.
Yep.
So to be able to offer that free of charge is incredible. I just wish we had another lot where we could build on that. We'll look at that next year to maybe try to expand it, because I think that Babcock, that property is only so big.
Right.
That is popular as the park and ride has become. We just need to build it out a little bit more.
Well, I appreciate that for being so proactive about it. And I think one of the things that I've always admired about you is that, once again, the silver lining to like reminding people that you're human and you're a pretty chill guy. Like, I love those times where you'd be on the bike and I'd be at Turtle and you'd come and stop and hang out. And
absolutely.
I mean, like I said, I'm I'm learning about this thing so-called life too. So I don't know, like, to me, that's my normal. It's normal for me to give a high five to my chief in my town.
That's awesome.
And I could say to you, hey man, how are you doing? You know, how do you feel? And I can say that one of the things I hope that's happening, not with just this show, but as people become more educated, watching podcasts and learning more and more, that this, what in my opinion, chief, is that this, what sometimes the media can portray is, it's like they almost kind of get off on creating division sometimes, whether it's not on the behalf of a PD or anything. I was talking to the doc yesterday about how everyone's fascinated with the sharks right now. If you notice that online, and that's just because everyone and their mother has a drone now. And I want to be like, the sharks have always been there. But it's
just remember this, it's always Shark Week.
I like that. That's what Adam and I were joking about. We're like, dude, it's so funny because I was on the phone. He wanted to swim today. And I don't know if you know this, but Adam and I like to do we go deep. We let our lifeguards know, like, hey, we're good with fins, we're out of here. But point is, now it's just creating this like concern for nothing. It's already there.
They've been there for long before we were here.
And that same thing. And I think it's my opinion that it's finally starting to hopefully get more, I don't know, people are starting to fall in love with what it's the right thing. And that we're on the behalf of the civilian for our police departments in all counties and all states. I mean, you guys are humans. You guys are human beings. You guys are moms and fathers and cousins and sisters. And like I can't imagine, and I mean this with all due respect, I can't imagine what it's like on a day-to-day basis when you're actually dealing with what you have to deal with, because it's all foreign to me anyways, whether it's a homicide, whether it's a theft, whether all of it comes to you. Mm-hmm. So the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you deal with that, but then you still have to deal with a guy that says, I don't like the way you look today or something, like, and you have to deal with it. And I can't imagine, we all deal with it from a consumer level and businesses and stuff, the customers are right. But here you guys are dealing with, I can imagine what's always going on in your head, the phone calls and the things. And I tell you, if there's one thing that comes out of this show, it's to remind people you're humans and to love you guys and,
absolutely.
And to treat people the way you want to be treated.
We're sons and daughters, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, some of us grandparents. But you have to get into this business for the right reason. You have to get in it. If you're not in this for people, you're in the wrong business.
Do you see that a lot now, Chief? No one is specific, but just generally, this has been
everybody has their own calling. Some people like the stability of law enforcement, government work. But at the end of the day, if you're going to be in this, and I tell my officers the same thing, every one of us has a shelf life. Some have been doing it longer than others. And for some people, they may do it a couple of years. They just don't, it's just not their thing. Right. They may think they like it. And then there's some that just go a long time. And I've been doing it since the 1980s. Wow. And, I'll probably stay here 7-8 more years. And somebody brought it to my attention the other day that if I stay until 2026 or 2027, I will have policed in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and the 2020s. But if you're not in this for people, to help people and get along and try to make every day better for at least one person, you're in it for the wrong reason.
It's not for you. So is that your kind of your cliff notes on, you got involved really young, like right on?
Really, really young. I got out of the Air Force, and it's the family business. My grandfather was a New York City cop. Then he was the chief of police in South Daytona in the 1960s. Wow. My dad was a cop on Long Island, and it's the family business. It's what we've done for about 110 years.
Did you know when you were as a kid, you were like, I'm going to be an officer? Or?
No, I was going to be the center fielder for the New York Mets until they started throwing curveballs, and that dream died pretty quick.
You still could do it, Chief.
No, probably because the Mets aren't doing very well this year. But then I went into service, and I got out of the service and went to the academy. And from the first day I sat in the seat of a Daytona Beach police car, everything just seemed to make sense. So,
well, it's very involuntary for you. I mean
it's just one of those things, just like you doing the podcast. It's just natural to you, and I'm blessed. I've been able to do it as long as I have, and I'm in good health, and I'm not going anywhere. I love, again, the town is incredible. the people that I get a chance to work with.
Can we tell you? Is it fair to say you love us a little bit more than the Daytona? Since we've had you,
I got a lot of really great experience from Daytona. I wouldn't have changed that experience for the world, because law enforcement in Daytona Beach is like dog years. So
1 year's like 10 because it's just the stuff
because
you're
of
dealing
the
with.
events, and so to do 20 years in Daytona is probably like doing 40 years somewhere else. So
how many did you do there?
20 years.
Oh, you did do 20?
Yeah,
Jeez.
I did.
Wow. So that you've had a.
So I did my time there, but I brought a lot of the stuff that was successful there, like the special events management for the 4th of July, the planning, and for a lot of folks that probably don't even know, but the planning for this event started back in March.
I can imagine.
And we've had meetings over at the EOC with all of the partners that are involved, and it's beautiful because everybody's there for the same reason, is to go out and have a great day, to make it the best event possible, and there's no egos involved. We're all there for one purpose, and Chief Pace from the fire department does a great job of coordinating all the fire stuff. Right. And we've even got Derek Frazier, who used to be the fire chief in Bunnell. He's still involved, and he's retired.
He just loves it.
He's
so
the
much.
operations chief, and he's teaching Captain Cox from our fire department how to take over his job.
Right.
To bring those things in, so to bring that experience, and our captain Lance Blanchett, he's a retired captain from Daytona and FBI national graduate. So he brings a wealth of talent and experience to our city. He's a joy to work with. My goal is to make him laugh every day. So.
Is he a tough nut to crack?
No, not really, because he and I have a very unique sense of humor, and but again, it's family. So
man.
The corny part of it is, talking about being human beings. It's a corny dad joke of the day, and I try to make them all laugh, at least with a joke that makes them either laugh or just shake their head. So,
well, I think you have a good. As I've gotten to know you, and I continue to get to know you. Once again, man, I'm sure working alongside of you is also you implement that on your own behalf, is reminding them like, hey, we're going to have poop days, man. Like everyone's going to have that day or that time. And that's part of this show, like, is resonating with people, is that I'm not just about, like, I know we're working. We've got someone who was grumpy pants to you today or yesterday. And it's all about trying to execute a higher character, man, and trying to treat people, as cliche as it sounds, like better than you treat yourself, basically. And it's pretty interesting. So I was going to ask you this: if I think everybody at some points contemplates becoming an officer. It's maybe even more just like when you're a kid, etc. If there are people out there right now listening to this, is there kind of is there like a golden path, something you should or shouldn't do? Or is there if someone is actually thinking about pursuing this and does have the right heart, and is there something that someone could be doing to better themselves in that department? Or is it just
there's a couple things. One is, if I'm a big proponent of education, so start off with trying to get your associate's degree. Okay. And then as you start working towards that associate's, to see if you like the criminal justice part of the college, right? You can go to any state college, Daytona State, any of those. That's where the police academies are located, at the state colleges. Okay. So Daytona State, where I teach at, has their own building off of Williamson Boulevard. The academy takes 6 months. Okay. So it's Monday through Friday. Chief? I teach at the academy. So that's what's up. And that's one of the ways. It's a great recruiting tool for us. Right. Because we get a chance to see the recruits as they just come into the academy, and to bring them to Flagler Beach, and Captain Blanchett teaches there as well. Okay. But to get in there, and then to see them at the academy, and then some people are geared towards different things. Some people want to work at a bigger department. Some people want to work at a smaller agency. Or like admin stuff too. Maybe they're not. Because you may want to just be involved in like a victim advocate. Those. So if you have an agency that you like, just go down and if they're open and accessible, go down and talk to them. We had a young lady today actually got an email wanting to know, she's going to Flagler College if we do ride-alongs. Awesome. So it's those little things, and I haven't had a chance to respond. Captain Blanchett probably has, but to just to talk to people. What is it do you want to get out of law enforcement? Right. because you are right. There are some days that are not, rainbows and unicorns and
Right.
puppy kisses, but there are days that you go home and unfortunately there are times that you get to see the work that human beings can do to other human beings, and there's a lot of grief involved and sorrow at times, but at the end of the day you're still there to help somebody. And sometimes in this career you're helping people that don't want your help.
That's true.
And they resist your help. And what I try to teach them in the academy is they don't know you. They're resistant to the authority, or they're resistant to help because they don't necessarily think they need help. So you can't take on that personal load like they hate you.
Right.
They really don't know you.
It's the principle of being told what to do
or by somebody in an authority figure.
That's some powerful stuff right there.
But you can't carry that around with you, and then every day is a new day.
I was listening to a really great podcast the other day, and it was on the behalf of a homicide detective for like 40 some odd years. And it was an audible one, so I don't know. But the power that was coming through his voice about he dealt with for the first decade or two of his career, he couldn't turn off.
Right.
And I know it's not just all, I don't want to get into the homicide aspect of things, but would you say, is it hard or good? Have you always been able to, as you got so many decades under your belt, have you always been someone that was able to like go home and turn off? And
no, not really.
You can't?
Not when I was younger, no.
I've heard that now. Once again, I'm very interested, as I think we all are. I don't watch the shows, the commercialized shows of them, but there's a podcast called Crime Junkie, and a lot of the ones that are just factual. I enjoy those. And I like it because I can empathize with what those. I just like to hear what's happening, and sometimes I like to realize that there is a scary side of the world, so you're aware of it. Not to be scared, but be aware.
Oh, absolutely.
So how long would you say it was? I hope you don't mind me asking these, by the way. I find the career is very interesting.
It's just one of those. Coming from where I came from in Daytona, I started out in special events management.
Okay.
Pretty early on.
Which is one like every other day in Daytona.
Right, and Daytona is very, very big, and was involved in as a motorcycle officer, and which is where all the planning was done. And through a majority of my career was in special operations and the events and churning them out one after the other. It's speed weeks and then bike week and then spring break, and then it's just all throughout the year, and football games and high school football games and Bethune-Cookman and their football games and seafood festivals, all those. And then on top of crime, so that what the job demands of you takes a lot. And then what you give to the job, sometimes there's not a whole lot left, to
in the tank
to give to other, to your family members and your loved ones, because you just either physically wore out or mentally wore out.
Right.
So it takes a strong person, but I think it takes a stronger person to be with somebody in this career field.
Right.
To love someone that's a law enforcement officer, because, when they go out to work, there's a chance, albeit maybe a small one, they may not come back. And you don't think about that every day. You don't think, when I come to work this morning, I have my calendar laid out of, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do a podcast. I don't say I'm going to get in a shooting at 3:15, or I may not make it back. But I mean, is it in the back of your mind? It's just one of those things you just don't really think about. And my mentor, who works for Daytona State College, was a retired commander, and he used to tell me all the time, "You're only as good as your last 24 hours."
Wow. So,
you could have done great on Sunday.
Right.
That doesn't matter. You got to be great today. And then when tomorrow comes, tomorrow's a new day. You got to be great. So
I like that.
Sometimes you got to, put stuff away, and I have bad days.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I'm human just like everybody else. And, but I try to stay upbeat and positive, even when things aren't rosy, to get, because people, they just need to know everything's going to be okay.
Well, that's true. And it's surreal, because during that show that I was listening to really was sending me some serious goosebumps, because the wife was on the show with him.
Right. And
the wife, had some choice words to say in support of him.
Right.
But there were times where I can't imagine what it's like to, I mean, here, I have a bad day because if you use corporal words, I had a bad third quarter, whatever. Like, my life isn't in jeopardy, even though an accident could happen, so to speak, but I'm not actually putting my life on the line to protect someone I don't know.
Right.
And it's a powerful thing. And then not to mention, when you're blowing my mind too, and I hope this really helps people remember that you're doing it for people that like sometimes don't even want you to do it, which is, I literally can't. It's like me servicing a client without them wanting me to. Like, I can't forcing, like, you know what I mean? It's really, it's almost too mind trippy to try to grasp, because I can't imagine in the midst of it, how mentally frustrating it is on the behalf for you guys to execute what needs to be done. And then once again, go home and do that. But I would say for those, because that was something that I found, I mean, I contemplated it when I was younger. I thought, oh man, like, who hasn't thought about pursuing any kind of, whether it was military or to me, I always found it to be, from a layman's perspective, just like exciting, like, oh, this would be exciting in this. But I think, of course, as I got older, I realized, like, wait a minute, I'm not man enough to do it. Definitely. I think would you say if that was like the title of the book that you wrote, it would be like doing it to help people is kind of like the silver lining to the whole thing, Chief? If that, like, I know there's a lot of other variables.
I think the title would be, you won't believe this. It's just one of those, it's one of those jobs. Mike Chitwood, the sheriff in Volusia County, I worked for Mike for 4 years. And he said law enforcement's one of those jobs where you can be bored 1 second and 2 seconds later be in absolute sheer chaos. It can go that quick. So you just have to be ready for it.
Right.
You can't be ready for everything, but you have to rely on, training and experience. And I try to tell the students at the college that, what's the biggest key you could give to us is you got to be a great communicator, because, the way from the second you get out of the car, you're portraying an image. And then you're verbal or nonverbal.
You mean even on the behalf of, not from an internal perspective, you're talking about
for
just
externally,
I see what you're saying.
Just, you have to, there's verbal and nonverbal communication on things. So it is, in my opinion, it's the greatest job on the planet. Does it have days that you're not the greatest? Absolutely. Right. I mean, you're gonna see things that you're probably not going to be prepared for.
Right.
But that's why we have stuff like EAP, Employee Assistance Program, and mentoring programs to talk to other people.
Right.
And,
well, that's where that family factor comes in, man. You guys,
the family factor is
such a powerful.
When you get to the level like I'm at with the chief or Sheriff Staly, that's my family. So not only are they my family, their family's my family. Yep. So I don't have to just look out for Kazone.
Right.
I have to look out for his wife.
Yep.
His son, who was a small, maybe 2-3 months old when he came there.
Wow.
And he's going to have another baby, and
you're growing
that's
together.
Your family. So the folks that work with me, they are my family.
Right.
And then the city of Flagler Beach, I take that. I have like over 5,000 people that are.
I feel like I really do. You've always made me feel so. And I know you got 400 million things going on you always make me feel that whatever my situation is, good or bad, or even if it's a high five, man, you've always done that. It was interesting because I think, didn't the county just have their picnic yesterday or something? I think they did.
They did,
that you weren't invited to see. That's why they said it was such a good time. I have so many friends that are in the force. Some of them are in dispatch, some of them are admin positions. Actually, major shout out to a really dear friend of mine I graduated with, who I think was able to kind of share with Staly, like, you coming on the show, because I graduated with her. Nice. So I didn't have to put too much hustle on them. But no, it was awesome to see photos coming. And I guess I probably saw a lot of them because friends of mine posted this picnic. But to see, it's amazing. I think when the general American population kind of like hate where they work, you know what I mean? It's like, get me out of here. They clock in, clock out. And I'm not saying for everybody, but for the most part, it's not this like super. The guy I was listening to the show, he said it's very similar. The only thing that ever came similar to the feeling was being in the military, which is unexplainable to civilians like myself that never experienced that kind of camaraderie and love and just unconditional, like, I got you.
It's incredible. I went to a funeral a month ago. Frank Schofield was a Volusia County senior deputy. I've known Frank, I don't know, 25 years.
Wow.
He got killed out on a bicycle ride. He and a retired Daytona officer that I've been friends with as well were training for an upcoming memorial ride, and he got killed in Volusia County. The outpouring of love for him, and Frank was one of those guys, just the real deal, great cop, great father, great friend. To see that when you go to something like that, you just feel it.
It reminds you how
it reminds you that
what love is.
But again, it comes down to every day. Just you got to give.
Yep,
you got to give. So it's whether I see you at Turtle Shack and come in for a bottle of water and talk to you and Jordan, or we talk about World Cup soccer or whatever. And by the way, 2:00.
Yeah, we're
right. Go ladies.
Go USA.
So go USA. So it's those little nuances of people would say, why would you take all that experience to Flagler Beach? That's the
You've
reason.
had that before?
People go, why would you come to Flagler Beach? You come from a city that's, 65,000 people, brings in 9 or 10 Super Bowl crowds a year. And
right.
Why would you go to a small town like Flagler Beach? This city suits my personality.
Right.
The way I like to do things, be open, accessible. 4th of July, I'll be out riding a bicycle just about all day.
What time you out there?
I start at 5:30.
God bless.
And then I'll probably get done around 11:30 at night. So it's
day,
long,
man.
It's hot. But you know what? At the end of the day, when we're stacking cones and putting stuff up, we can all reflect and look back and go, hey, they came, they had a great parade, great fireworks. We all had a good time together, from the folks working in dispatch to the hydration team to law enforcement. They all came, and then they all went home, and they all went home safely. So this year we've had a really big push on social media.
It's so crazy, you guys. I see from a civilian standpoint, here I am just hanging out and getting ready to just have a good time on the 4th. You guys have been hustling this since March. Talking about the logistics and this and that. Yeah.
So I was talking, do you know Bob Pickering over at BP?
He's our weatherman. He's like our guy. When he posts something,
BP's
I'm
incredible. There's like 10 BPs running around. That's how many. He's omnipresent. That guy is such a joy to work with, and his folks in React that help us direct traffic. But he's putting out message boards today. The Flagler EOC has got a great deal. As a matter of fact, it just came out on Facebook. If you dial Flagler 4th in all caps on your cell phone and then send it to 888-777, you'll get real-time updates of what's going on in Flagler Beach.
Didn't even know that, Chief.
I just posted it.
Amazing.
Came out on Facebook at 12 o'clock.
I'll share it.
It's scheduled. So you just may want to check with your
cell provider.
Your cell provider.
They have to pay.
Right.
No lawsuits.
But if there's anything, if we have to shut a road down or anything that's
or an accident, just something real
anything,
time.
We may just tell you to hydrate.
Yeah.
Drink a bottle of water. So it's that. And Jonathan Lord over at the EOC, he came up with that.
It's a great idea.
So BP reminded me of it today, and we put out a post at 12 o'clock. And Chief Pace has got one coming out at 2 o'clock about fireworks safety. And, we don't want anybody to get hurt. Man. So
it shows. It's so awesome. I had no idea that. That's what I'm saying. I'm biased, and I still, once again, I think this is the coolest little town in all the world.
Oh, absolutely.
But what you guys are doing with the communication factor, when I've been seeing these videos, and I'm sure you will, but on the behalf of, from what I'm saying and my audience and my friends, we're loving it, man. We're really, really loving it. And it's just good. You feel good about the community in which you're in. And I think it's really powerful that you have that support too. Even like I said, Bob Pickering, what a great guy. You know what I mean? It would be funny, if a kid said, how do I want, when I grow up, I want to be like Bob Pickering. I don't know, it just happens by consequence of being real and providing. And like you said, communication is so important in all things. I've had a lot of people get in touch with me and they say, how did you do this? How did you start this? And and I said, dude, I just always love to talk with people. Yeah. And I don't mind taking an hour, 10 minutes. And it's a lot of times it's listening too, though, Chief, right? Just hearing what someone may have to say and loving on them and just giving a high five and rooting them on. It's sometimes it's like the best thing you could have done.
Sometimes
anything at all.
Spending 5 minutes with somebody can alleviate all the problems in the world. Sometimes you're right. They just need to be heard. You may not always understand exactly where they're coming from. And you just try to, especially if it's a law enforcement related question, well, why do you do this? Or why do you do that? But once you explain it to them, they're usually pretty good with it.
They get it.
They get it. And, sometimes we're not always right. So sometimes we need to adjust our thinking. And so when it comes to the communication stuff, 2 years ago, I didn't know anything about Facebook. And now, we're pumping stuff up and trying to be lighthearted when we can and send out positive stuff. And I enjoy it now. But sometimes it gets a little consuming with people, asking questions. But again, that's all part of being
well, the minute you put yourself out there, even with my little show, like the minute you put yourself in a position to be, it's like, you boil it down to just even a restaurant. Not everyone's going to like you. Everyone's got an opinion and those are good. And I, just like anything, I'm human and I bleed red. So sometimes it's tough when they're like, you smell and you're like, well, okay, well, whatever, it's fine. But what you guys, I've noticed every time you make a post, because I run that Flagler Beach events Facebook page, you guys are, the traction you're getting, it's real traction. Because it's not like you guys are like, and buy here. It's real information that you guys are throwing out there and people are loving it. And I had even today's show has been so resourceful because I had no clue about some of even the texting thing. The transportation thing is huge. The park and ride is that's so huge. Amazing.
Again, underage drinking. Again,
how do you guys, on a just a little bit of a tangent, growing up here my whole life, I'm sure that's got to be I was guilty, Chief. I was a hunch punch kid. I was that guy. I was, but I don't know how looking back on it now, I'm like, it was so stupid. You're really putting yourself in a position of like, why? I don't know. It's just not worth it. Especially with today's day and age and how much ruckus is going on. It's different.
The thing with the underage drinking is, the officers do a great job because they have discretion. So they can make them pour it out. But if you're going to come down here and your intent is to ruin a family-friendly event, then you don't need to be here.
I agree with you.
Then you don't need to be here. Now, should they be arrested? They're going to get arrested.
Well, there's a time and place for it, right? If they're being just belligerent, bunch of debauchery.
If you want to come here and draw negative attention and try to disrupt it, then you'll be removed. And that's not a threat. It's just that's why we requested state agents come from alcohol, beverage, and tobacco. That's what they do.
I don't blame you.
That's what they do. So again, we want everybody.
Well, the population.
Somebody asked me the other day, what's your rule of thumb for the 4th of July? It's easy. Come to Flagler Beach, follow the rules, and have a good time. You won't have any problems.
That's a good rule of thumb.
And then come by and see all the city has to offer. DJ Vern's going to be down there.
Yes, he will.
So I'll be down there. He's going to be playing James Brown, Living in America, which is my favorite 4th of July song. And then at some point, probably maybe twice during the day, that I'll stop by Kona Ice and get my thin blue line tongue. So I like the blue.
I like you got your tradition.
Chuck knows. Chuck, hopefully you're seeing this. That's a tradition. I got to get the thin blue line tongue and be out there dancing and doing ring toss and watermelon eating contest. And this is kind of our claim to fame. I would say growing up here my whole life. It's the single biggest event in Flagler County.
I love it.
It's awesome.
I love that. For me, the text messages start just about now. Now everyone's really, where are you going to be? Which street? This is what we literally I don't think I've missed. I think I may have missed 2 forests where I went because I was originally from New England, but I moved here when I was like 3 or 4. So once in a blue moon on a 4th, I'd go up there. But this is the best.
This is it.
This is the best.
It's a parade right on A1A. Yep. You get to see the water.
I heard we were like this close to not having it. I'm glad we did. Glad we came together.
The project team that's doing the A1A construction, they're phenomenal to work with. So I don't know if you have had any interaction with them.
I actually tried in the very beginning. They got a job to do. I had reached out to a few of the powers that be, and I wanted to have someone on the show to help. But I mean, they're busy guys. But as far as the workmanship and their personalities, they've actually, what's the irony is, if you know this, well, if you got to
think, it's okay.
A lot of the business owners they've brought so much business to the place.
Yeah,
whenever they're like at that zone,
the subcontractors that are either with Atkins or they're subcontractors and Superior, they're visiting the restaurants
and they're treating them so good. Like shout out to even Jamie at Beachfront Grill.
Oh yeah,
like it's the same thing all the way from them all the way to Oceanside to Turtle, all the places. They've made it a point, which is just smart. It's just love on them. Be nice. Don't come out hooting and hollering and yelling at the bulldozer. They got a job to do, and they're like frequenting these places.
Absolutely.
So it's been a win-win. But what you guys are doing, I guess on another note too, regarding that A1A project, you guys are doing a hell of a job at keeping us up to date with the accessibility factor and where we're at. And for those that are listening that aren't in Flagler, you can get around. There's this spooky feeling that you're gonna like fall off into the ocean. I think,
or that we were closed.
Or beach is closed.
No, it's not. Yeah. It's not. Some of the dune walkovers are closed.
Correct.
And they had to be removed because they were really dangerous.
Right.
So some got removed by Mother Nature. Others got removed because they needed to be removed. But the folks that work there, again, it's all about people. So the two gentlemen that I get to deal with, and we were meeting every week. Now we meet every other Wednesday. Everything that I've ever asked them to do, they've done.
Right on it.
We asked for some barrels, orange barrels, to be placed at South 23rd Street to help with the detour for the 4th of July that's in the traffic plan.
Yep.
No questions asked. They
done.
Dropped off. A pleasure. I saw the supervisor from Superior yesterday. Just a great guy. Has a job to do. They're doing a great job. The north end up here is
we're sitting pretty, man. We're almost there.
If it hadn't have been so hot in the last 2 weeks with 107-degree heat index, they would probably be done.
Aren't we still ahead of schedule technically though?
On the north end, absolutely. Yeah. And then on the south end, they're still on schedule, and they're going to be closed. There's no road construction the 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th.
I saw you post that.
Which was,
so for those
originally they were only going to be closed on the 4th.
Okay.
And they were going to come back and work on the 5th and 6th. But with it being a holiday weekend,
you figured it was just a good idea.
Yeah, thumbs up to the Florida Department of Transportation.
Nice.
And then getting with Atkins and Superior and their powers that be that said, you know what, let's just give them a break for 4 days and we'll come back ready to go. And I'm sure it's going to help their staff as well because they're out working in that heat.
Yep.
So if they get a 4-day break, they come back Monday and roll their sleeves up. But they're working hard every single day.
I've seen a handful of our residents, which I'm sure you've seen too, Chief, that literally just made it their duty, especially people on A1A, like go give them a couple bottles of water, some lemonade, something. And I don't know, man, I think once again, I have a lot of hope in humanity. And I think that when people take a moment to educate themselves and or communicate and overall have empathy for somebody, there's just this connection, man. And I think we're above average here in Flagler Beach just because we're a small beach town, but it's awesome to see. I was riding my bike down the other day and I saw some people in like some beach clothes giving them, and it's not like they can't afford it. It's just they're in the middle of a shift, it's just take 10 seconds to tell them. And I've done it with my own. I haven't given them any beverages yet, but simple, hey man, thanks for all that you're doing. And you could almost see, just like in anything, you could see the shock in their eyes versus probably someone like, hey, shut up. I don't know, whatever. Someone's got a grumpy day, like, when they're holding the sign and you got to stop and everyone's pissed off. I take a moment to say, hey man, thanks for all you're doing. Like, cause they got a job to do, but it relates to everything. It's just treating people well. And I think it's fantastic. So if you want to reiterate, so the road construction will be halted from the 3rd to the 6th.
So you said? They'll finish up today and tomorrow. They'll kind of get everything shut down. They're going to move some equipment so that, aesthetically it's not out on anyone. There's some stuff that they just can't move. It's the heavy construction equipment. They'll make sure that all the barricades that are in place are all secured and ready to go. But there'll be no road work construction Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
It's amazing, man.
So you can't ask for better cooperation. And they'll have staff checking throughout, those 4 days to make sure if a barricade got knocked down or something. And they're just good people. They got a job. They got a really tough job to do.
Well, especially in this heat, man.
It's hot. And, again, the north end project would have probably been pretty close to being completed as far as the drilling. But I would imagine by maybe August 1st, the drill will be gone. And
they trucked it.
once they got it, once they got to figure it out exactly how they needed to do it.
Right.
And everything, all the samples of concrete are coming back fantastic. So
they're doing that.
They do all kinds of.
Making sure. I know. Come on, Chief. You don't know. You know. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not doing core samples and those type of things, but to listen to the amount of technical aspect and how detailed they are in this stuff.
I heard a lot of this was like pioneering a whole new.
That drill, I didn't know it. The drill that's being used on A1A, that drill was made specifically for this project.
Get out of town.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. That.
Yeah, I remember when I got in touch with, they were all great too. Like, I don't want to call them their publicists, but like whoever these admin people were when I was hunting after someone to get on the show, very informational, very chill. Like I said, I didn't take it wrong. I knew they got a job. Last thing they want to do is probably would be a podcast. Like I got a job,
Right. Carolyn Fitzwilliams is the PIO.
I think I talked to her
that they're utilizing. She's very responsive. She's really, really nice. So everything I've ever asked of her and
done.
They're just responsive. We need this, or people are. One of the problems was the workers were bringing stuff to eat, and then there was trash. Well, big green trash barrels are not very pleasing to the eye. So what the superiors asked them to do is just take your trash and put it in a corner, and then they have somebody come by with a garbage bag and pick up their stuff, as opposed to putting a big dumpster or barrels that don't look good. And then they clean up after it. So,
Chief, this is why I thank you so much for coming, because these little tidbits of knowledge make me not only appreciate and love my community more, but when I do see the haterades, whether it's comment on anything, there's always going to be some, it can always be done. There's always going to be someone with a bigger boat, man. It could always be bigger, better. It could be this way. It could have been that way. I had my own little thoughts and opinions too, but at the end of the day, it's just about a matter of respect. So like, here we go. Like another little nuance of like, just some like a logistic of trash issue. You guys solved it. It's done. And I actually did notice not the trash, but I noticed it was little bags. I thought, oh, that's good. So once again, I think communication, right?
And that came from, one of our citizens that said, hey, there's trash. Okay. So then they put it in one corner. Now they know where to put it.
Boom.
And then they come and pick it up with a trash bag. So it's those little things. I'm a big believer that if you have the right mindset, 1 + 1 can equal 3. If
I like that.
If you're of the same mindset that you're working together, just get it done.
I'm going to steal a lot of your sayings today. The 24 hours one's good. You're only as good as your last 24. You're only as good as your last 24. That's really good. Because you don't piggyback off of something you did 2 weeks ago. Good. It's on to the next.
No, because tomorrow's a new day. Yeah. And you just got to be better. You got to be better for the community, better for the city, better for the agency, and we've got a lot of really, really talented folks there. I'm going to say seven of our officers are in college right now.
I didn't know that.
Getting college degrees, and
so they got a hell of a career ahead of them. Like
kudos to them, because my goal for being here is to make an impact on their lives, so that when I retire and I hang up my gun belt for the last time, they can say, he came in, he made it better for us, better for the community. He pushed me to get my education. So now when they retire, they can get a pension and have a degree. And then they can go, well, now I can get another job, right? Because he pushed me to go to college. And, awesome. The city's fantastic and helping us, reimburse the officers to go to school too. So really? It's a win-win for us. It's a great recruiting tool for us as an agency. And, cops going to school makes them smarter. They don't make as many mistakes. Right.
Well, it gives you opportunity, right?
Absolutely.
No matter how long your career is, you got another. And for those that are listening that are contemplating pursuing a career in the force that pertains back to what we had talked about, you're saying get yourself educated, be in that environment, and then get yourself involved in the community in that or the department in which you're at.
Right. Just find out what it is you want to do. You want to be able to be out in the open air, and you want to ride a bicycle or ride a 4-wheel or ride a motorcycle, but you want to work in a small town. Right. Flagler Beach is the place. Yeah. It is the best hidden secret in law enforcement. Again, you can come to work in a polo shirt and shorts. Right. interact with people, walk on the boardwalk,
Right.
talk to people, and just interact and make them come. Again, you're an ambassador of the city, and to change someone's mindset of, wow, that officer was really, really nice.
Right.
And, you see people, taking selfies, or someone's always left out of the picture. Our officers go take pictures for people,
Right.
so then they remember, oh, we were in Flagler Beach, the policeman took it. So the next time they come down, we're only 3 miles from 95. The closest beach between Maine and Key West. Come on and stop by and see us. If you just come for one day, if you come from one day, I guarantee you'll be back.
Chief, it's happening too, though. I think from what I'm seeing online, and even we've had a ton of people even offer to want to rent our house to strangers and stuff that drive by. It's happening. It's a good thing. I feel like it's a really good thing. And there's a lot of good energy out there. And once again, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. We're growing.
Don't forget the puppy
kisses. My wife's gonna love the puppy kisses. But it's about persevering and knowing that, because there's always going to be, without going into depth about it, but even the whole development thing that's going on right now, it's hard for me to. I have a lot of people trying to use this as a platform,
right? And
also the Flagler Beach events, and I don't know. I'll be very honest with you. I don't know what to do. From being I guess as it's happening as a public figure, I don't know what to do. It's tough. It's because of course I want growth. I'm contingent on business is doing well for my own sake.
Right.
But then of course there is the flip side and the the ecosystem, et cetera, et cetera. So without going into too much depth, the point is that we have this gem, and it is here, and it's up to us to treat it with love, and the people that are here with love. And man, I can't tell you, like I said, how much it means to me that you came on, because it's literally when I was telling people personally that you were coming on, they all were like, tell him I basically love him in so many ways, which is fantastic, man. And I mean that, it's got to be. And of course, how being a human is, you can have 10 people tell you they love you, and you have that one grumpy pants that says you smell bad, and it may resonate. But I hope today, after today's show, Chief, if you already know it, but let this be a huge reminder that no matter what, I support you. My family supports you. And if there's anything, I've told you this many, many times, if there's anything I can ever do to help get a word out, because God's put me in a position that's really unique, where I'm becoming a voice for people.
That's awesome.
And I'm honored when people sit here, because that's what the show is. It's whatever your story was and your heart and your mission. And people are telling me that in the midst of their bad day,
right,
or the midst of their good day, that story helped.
Well, I appreciate you, asking me to come, because, some folks are like, why would you put the police chief on there for? He probably doesn't have anything to say. Or from the first time, I can tell you exactly where the first time I met you was up at the Turtle Shack.
Turtle.
And, you and Jordan were up there as just real guys, just, World Cup soccer, and talking to you and getting to know you the last, 4 years. That was 4 years ago.
It's crazy how fast it's gone by.
Again, that's part of being involved. There's a difference between being committed and being involved. You're going to have to, it's a little bit of a stress. So you're going to have to go there with me, right? Just think of the bacon and egg breakfast.
Okay.
See, there's two animals involved. There's a chicken and the pig.
Okay.
See, the chicken lays the egg. The chicken's kind of involved in the breakfast. Now, the pig, on the other hand, is pretty much committed to it.
I like
so,
this.
When it comes to, if you want to be a law enforcement officer in this city, you have to decide before you get here, do you want to be committed, or are you just involved in it? So whether it's, hey, call me in the office at 517-2024, that's my office. It's my direct office number. Right. If you have a question, call and ask me.
Right.
If you need something, it's the hurricanes, and you have my number. I can't tell you how many people I'd get a text, hey, is my house okay? Here's a picture of your house. Here's a picture of your business. It's those little things that when the public, when they say, we want our police department, we need our police department. I drive a blue Ford Taurus. If that car is parked at the police department, you don't need an appointment to see me.
That's powerful,
just
Chief.
Come in and say, hey, I'd like to talk to the chief for 5 minutes. For 5 minutes. Now, if it's going to be longer, I have
You actually do work.
Be
Rick.
jetting off to Podcast City, but that's the commitment to make things accessible to the community,
right?
To be a real person, to just listen to somebody for 5 minutes. I had a lady on Facebook that has a question about how is she going to get back on the 4th of July. I just responded to her. Call me in the office.
Yeah.
I can type it out, but you may have other questions. All you have to do is call me and I'll give you the quickest route to get home. And if need be, if it's crowded, I'll give her my city cell phone number. She can call me and I'll tell her how to get home.
Right.
So,
Chief, that's so dope that you do that though. Like, I don't know. I'm spoiled because I think that like that's my normal, but I know that that's not normal, because you're able to do it, but not only are you able to do it, but you're doing it. Like you really are. So I think I love the analogy of the chicken and the bacon, man. I'm like taking so many notes, and they're totally thieving a lot of these. I'm going to use them in my life. That's so true. And that pertains to I'm always thinking of like how this can relate to anything that relates to life, business,
right,
marriages, relationships, anything. You're either the chicken, you're the egg, which wasn't hard. That wasn't too hard to do.
You're kind of involved.
You just gave it away.
And the pig
gave it his life, man.
Laid everything out.
I mean, Chief, I gotta say, without a doubt, you're the bacon, man. You're giving it. You really do. You've given your. I mean, for you to let people, for you on a public forum to say, which probably most that know you already know this, but for you to say that you can come roll up at the station, give a high five, ask a question, deliver maybe even some poop news. Maybe you're a little grumpy. Fine. It's just he's there. And that's powerful stuff, man. Yep. I really appreciate that.
It's being the police chief in this city is a blessing. I wouldn't want to be anyplace else. Wouldn't trade it for anything. And the core people that love and support me mean the world to me. And they know that. They know that.
Well, I hope I'm on that list, man.
Absolutely.
You are. Absolutely. When I was texting you, and for those that are listening to this, no joke, when I was texting the chief to get you on the show, it was like you're just so humbled and so appreciative to be not on the show, but even just what you're doing. Because I try to make sure I reminded you through my musings and texts through that I'm appreciative of all that you're doing.
Absolutely.
And you're like, nah, man, I'm appreciative. And it was just I was showing my wife literally, and you love emojis. He's an emoji guy.
Yeah, because I used to have a fake BlackBerry a couple of years ago that only had like 3 emojis on it, and now, I like the emoji with the shades.
You love them.
Yeah,
but I'm showing my wife. I'm like, look at this. Like, what an honor, and I mean that, dude. I'm absolutely honored. Anybody that comes and sits and takes time out of the day to sit with me, no matter who you are, you're still special to me. But it's also it's very powerful for me for somebody to know, like I mean, to me, you're a hero, man. And I put that in the text. Come on, your life's on the line any given time. You know that. It's a real thing.
To have somebody invite you to come to their house and to talk about positivity. You don't understand how much from the law enforcement standpoint, because if I send something out on social media, I send it out because it's the message that I want to get. Right. Sometimes it's in the written word.
Right.
It all depends on how people take it.
Gotcha.
But when you get a chance to do like your first podcast and someone's, asked you to come to their house and to talk about all the great little things or the little nuances that make our city so wonderful, if you don't consider that an honor and a privilege, because I'm sure, when the sheriff comes on here, he's a very, very humble man as well, and he's been doing it longer than I have. So
how can how much he's
he's been doing it since the 70s.
Wow.
So
I don't know any of his history. I can't wait to hear his background.
I won't rob any of the thunder, but he's been a cop a long time, and he's done it right. And everything I've ever asked the man for as the sheriff, he's bent over backwards. He's not only a peer, but he doesn't even know, and he'll probably see this, but even some of the little things that he does that I wound up seeing, he's mentoring people that he doesn't even really know that he's mentoring them. Very smart man, very humble man.
That's powerful. I like the way you just put that.
Yeah.
It's like the inadvertent way of him, by him being, like by him just being him. It's kind of goes to one of the, I like when people, I was having a meeting yesterday with somebody and it started to get like special because they started to share some things with me. And I always find that to be very powerful and an opportunity for me to just listen. And it's a fantastic thing when I told them at the end of it that through them sharing with me their hardships and their woebegones, I was able to self-evaluate and to reflect on like, I don't think that it could always be worse. It could always be. And I'm a big believer in that. And I don't want to sound pessimistic and half glass full kind of thing, but it is important to know. So if Sheriff Staly's out there, just by him involuntarily doing things, talking with people the way he is. And I can't wait to talk to him and to give him tons of high fives of what he's doing. And once again, statistically with the crime rate going down and the way that he's having fun with his department and the social media aspect. I mean, once again, I know there's haters out there that could say he could do it better. You're not
going to make everybody happy all the time,
but you guys are.
He's doing a great job. His folks are so much fun to work with, whether it's the deputies on the road or his commanders, David Williams, that's in charge of Palm Coast, or Jerry DeToll or Jeff Stewart, who I've known for a long, long time. You know, when you're working with your friends and you're getting stuff, it's like, I'll be honest with you, sometimes it feels like you're not even working.
Right.
You're just getting stuff, just handling your business. But on the same note, you're having fun while you're doing it,
right?
Which makes it a blast for me to work with them. And like I said, you know, Jerry DeToll, I went to college with his wife.
Wow.
So I've known his wife for a long time. And Jeff Stewart, I just taught his daughter at the police academy. So it's
such a small, just like anything else, you can be in any industry, but it's a small world.
It is a small world. And to be able to continue to do this every day, you know, I come across that bridge every day, you know, and I kind of, as you get to the crest of the bridge, you kind of let off the gas a little and you look left, you look right, and you look straight and you go, okay, I can do this today.
It's a good feeling.
It is a really good feeling. It's a really good feeling.
I love that feeling, coming back and just seeing, like, it really, I can imagine the surreal feeling it must be from, like, you know, kind of a childhood kind of feeling. Like, this is your town, man. This is your town. You protect and you serve, and you got an ear to the ground, and you're out there. And that's why, once again, I could tell you until I'm blue in the face, but knowing that you took some time out today to chill with me, and to know that you've got, there's a world going a million miles an hour out there, man.
It's spinning. Yeah, but it can stop for an hour. And then the thing, when we get done with the 4th of July, you talked about law enforcement. I get very self-critical on what could we have done better. So
that's okay.
I'll be putting something out on Facebook after the 4th of July.
You can throw yourself out there, huh?
Yeah, just throw yourself out there that says, hey, listen, this is what we did. If you liked the park and ride, please tell us. If you like this, if you like that, there's certain things I know we couldn't change, like A1A.
Can you make A1A wider, Chief?
Right.
Come on.
You know, Matthew created it, not this Matthew. But if we did something that was really good, tell us. Yeah. If there's something that we could do better next year, be respectful and just tell us, because we do an after action report, and I'm self-critical of what I could have done as the incident commander better. And every year we try to build and build and build and build to make this that signature event that everybody can go, I really wouldn't change anything.
Right.
That's the goal. You know, if you set your bar at mediocrity, that's all you're ever going to accomplish. So
man.
I tell them, just, you know, you always strive for perfection. Will you ever get there? No. But if you don't keep striving for it, you're just going to set yourself up for failure.
Chief, that's awesome that you are. It's good to be critical, and it's good to, like, after this show and we go, once we're not live, I'm going to be asking you, like I ask everybody that comes on, constructive criticism, advice, did you know, et cetera. And it's good. It's good to be vulnerable, man. And that's what I think. And you probably know this too, as you're getting more socially connected. Yes, there's a lot of riffraff and the noise can be loud with cat memes. But if you actually pay attention and you take 10 seconds to look for what is educationally and communication, and you see how much of a wonderful resource it is. Yeah. So the beautiful part about all of it is reminding yourself that there's, like, it's, I don't know, it can be a very dark world if you suck you in, man, it can be a really dark world. You get a lot of people that get sucked into it, but I'm trying to use it as a means of educating and a little entertainment. Ain't nothing wrong with that. No. But what you guys are doing is it's powerful, man. And I can't tell you how appreciative I am. I think, what did we do? Did we do good?
Yeah, we did awesome. I can't believe
I could do this all day, Chief.
You know, with the videos and some of the stuff, like I can't wait for the Christmas time to come around because we have a elf on a shelf that I've got.
You got all this stuff.
I got lots of stuff going on in my head and her name is Miranda. So a lot of stuff.
The elf or the lady? What are you talking?
The elf.
Oh, we've already got a name for the elf.
We already, yeah.
Chief, you're like a retail store.
So
You're already,
I'm already thinking, that and to build on the tips for the summer that are on the Facebook page where I get dunked in water. So we've got some other ones that I kind of got scripted in my head how to do it again to deliver a positive message, but then at the end to just be a little bit lighthearted about it. So people can say, hey, that little small 16 officer department.
Is that really our force, huh? I always wondered what we were like.
60. We're budgeted for 16. We're a little shorthanded. We're down 2 positions right now, but
you need me in, Chief.
I'll call you, and you got to work on the 4th of July. Okay. I'll put you out there in a traffic vest. But so I marvel every day that a small department can do more than the sum of its parts. Mm-hmm. That synergy of, hey, how does that little department do something like that? And it's all about people and people helping you do, whether it's videos or those little things and helping you come up with different concepts to get your message out, especially in social media, but not take yourself so seriously. So there'll be some stuff coming out probably August, I would say, maybe September. And then again, as we start gearing up for the fall, we got a couple other, and the great thing is our city manager just, I kind of give him the heads up, hey, I'm going to do a video, and he's very supportive. He's a great guy to work for, and it's nice when it comes out and you just see the folks at work, and they love it. They just shake their head.
Well, your response is like amazing when it comes to the engagement on there because they're listening. And once again, it's you're not selling anything. You're taking time out of your day to educate and to actually become you're vulnerable, man. And that's what I think is the most sincere thing beyond just being our chief of police. You're putting yourself and our entire police department in a position of saying, listen, if you've got something to say, you're open to that. That's powerful stuff,
Absolutely.
Man.
Absolutely.
A lot of people hide from that.
Yeah,
they don't want anything to do with that.
No, again, underneath the uniform,
you're not a robot, Chief. After all,
I'm not a robot. If you live your life with the heart of a child, so I may be in my mid 50s on the outside, but in here, 11-teen.
Now you're blowing me away, uppercutting me with awesomeness. I literally said something very similar to someone yesterday. So I'm 35, and I go, I feel like I'm like 15 inside. I still got an adult. Got to pay the bills. I got to do things, but I feel like I'm a little kid. And isn't it funny when you do have that childlike mentality? Yeah. There's no, what do you do? There's no, like, where's your line in the sand? It's more of like, hey, I got to be home by 5. My mom's going to be whistling.
I've got stuff to do.
But what can we do together?
Right.
You're 11-teen. I like
11-teen on the inside, man. If you keep that in your heart, and again, sometimes in this profession, there's days where you just shake your head. I can
imagine.
I've seen more than those days that but they fade, and the good stuff. And at the end of the day, people aren't going to remember Matt Doughney for what. They may remember some of the crime statistics, but at the end of the day, for us as an agency, how did we make people feel? So did we make them feel protected? Did we make us feel safe? Were we approachable?
Right.
Did we change the perception of what law enforcement is, how policing can go about? Do we use technology to our fullest? And at the end of the day, as the police chief, for the folks that are at the PD, did he come in here? Was he a real guy? Did he make the department better? But at the end of the day, when I'm retired and put out to chief pasture. Hey, he cared about us. He loved us,
right,
and he made things better for us. So that's that goes out to the whole community. So when they can say, hey, I stopped by and I talked to him for 5 minutes and I didn't need an appointment. If that changes someone's reality of, hey, this is the coolest little place ever, then so be it. But again, pleasure to come to your house, to hang and chill with you. Just talk positive stuff.
Yeah,
You're just a positive guy.
Well, I appreciate that. And that's starting to happen by consequence of it's involuntary. And I really do just try to treat people the way I want to be treated and some, and I try to listen. And there's always someone with a bigger boat, and it can always be worse. So I try to love what I've got, and every day is an opportunity. And it's a lot of these things sound so cliche, but they mean so much more as I'm figuring my little life out. I've learned this too, Chief, and you probably could back me up on this, is that if people just started worrying a little bit more about the 6 inches in front of their face, I'm learning that you watch how much things start to change. You know, like I can't stop the whaling in Japan today, but I can definitely keep what I got to deal with today and deal with it accurately, in love and with sincerity. And it seems to make me sleep a wee bit better at night when I'm not letting every little issue saturate me. It's possible.
Absolutely.
But
sometimes it's just getting involved in one little thing.
One thing.
I mean, a couple of years ago, the cleanups on the 5th of July were just a nightmare. But a couple of years ago, the local tourism office came and started supplying garbage bags. Now they've got waves of volunteers handing out garbage bags. So on the 5th of July, instead of it looking like a scene from The Hangover, couches on fire and stuff smoldering, there's just on the beach is a sea of orange trash bags as far as you can see.
Is that a little bit of shout out too to the Flagler Beach Allstar group? Are they involved?
To the Flagler Beach Allstars, Palm Coast and the Flagler Beaches.
Right.
You know, the Allstars and the Tourism Development Office, they partner together doing that. They'll be at the A-Frame on the 4th of July. They've got, I think, 2 different.
That's the pier for those that don't know.
The A-Frame, the pier. Just look for the big A. So they're going to be there, and I think they have a morning and an afternoon shift to hand the stuff out. And when they're handing them out this year, they're giving away trash bags and then the metal straws.
Yep, I saw that.
Which are really cool. So you're saving the environment by not using plastic straws.
Yep.
You're saving the environment by not having all that trash get washed out. And all they need is an hour of your time.
I know.
So, you know, Linda P's involved in that, and Carla, Cline, and Amy over at the tourism office, and just getting all those folks. What a great idea to just come out, and the volunteers that were out there last year. So does it make a difference? It absolutely makes a difference, because, you know, there's a cleanup then, and then the day after there's another cleanup, because we have First Friday on July the 5th.
Was it every second Saturday of the month?
It's the first Saturday. It's the day after First Friday. There's always
Saturday.
A beach cleanup in the morning, and the All-Stars are involved in it, and positive stuff. Like I said, Carla gets involved.
I had little Miss Flagler, Susie Johnson's daughter, on the show. And man, do I love when the kids come on. It's like, it's just, talk about the 11-teen, man.
11-teen.
They let it out.
They are actually.
they're the real deal.
Yeah.
And I said to her, I go, what's, you know, you could sense the responsibility she felt. She had her crown, she had her thingy, and she sat here very stoic, and I said, what's your favorite thing about it? She said, I love the Flagler Beach cleanups on every first Saturday.
Right.
And I thought, I hear this 9-year-old, you know, whatever it was, passionate about something that, in all due respect, when I was 9 years old, I wasn't excited about cleaning up trash, you know? So she sees the value in keeping her community clean, and it's just great. And once again, I think my opinion is it's a byproduct of people taking 10, 15 minutes out of the day to educate, entertain yourself, scroll, look at some cat memes. That's fun. But when you take, some people say that, man, I could podcasts. I'll never watch podcasts for an hour, 2 hours. Whatever. I said, well, obviously you don't watch Joe Rogan's then. And I learned so much about what's going on. I know some of it's opinionated. I'm not saying it's the Bible of life, but it's good to hear people's ideas, concepts, and you know where wisdom comes from. So other people's mistakes and things. I learned so much from today, Chief, that my wife, as my little publicist in the back, I told her during this show, I was like, write down the little notes, because I'm trying to do a better job at consolidating clips of shows. Cool. Because I know people don't want to. I know everyone's got a life, but we do have a following. There are people that watch a show from A to Z and they love it when they can. But the clips are fun, and there's been so much. Chief, you threw out some great wisdom out today. I appreciate
it. The one I like that you just did was six inches in front of your face. If you can change that, if you can change, just if you just worry about, whatever street you live on, right? Your yard, your neighbor. Look out for your neighbor. You see, get back to that little mentality of, hey, I look out for my neighbor. My neighbor looks out for me. Right.
So don't look at it as in 40 blocks. Think about your street.
Think about your street. Yeah. Sometimes I get that everybody gets caught up and everybody's got a life, but if you look out for each other, these things, we're out there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And do we see everything? No. Right. And, sometimes we're spread a little thin. We don't have 10 officers working at a time. Right. So,
we're going to be an extension of your eyes and ears.
Those eyes and ears.
You guys are on point, though. Whenever I call, you guys are like on it. I mean that, like, you guys are no joke when it comes to that stuff. And thank God I've never had any situation that was grandiose and it was like life-threatening. But you guys are on point, man.
Sometimes it's not the major call.
Oh yeah,
the major calls are the ones where you're going 90 miles an hour, the hair on fire. But it's the small little quality of life call. Someone's parked on the sea dunes, or someone's got a dog running on the beach at South 3rd Street when they're not supposed to do that, or they've got their dog up on the north end and they're not on a leash. Right. It's those little things, and it's all on how you approach it and respond to that, and then get back with them and go, hey, listen, they're not from here. We gave them a pet card. We have these really cool pet cards. Because the minute you walk down on the beach with a ticket book, people get can get very defensive. So you just walk down, you talk to them, you educate them with a card. You warn them, and then you go back and say, hey, they're from wherever, Vermont. They didn't know. They had no clue. Their dog is now leashed up. We gave them this is the card that we gave them. Put it on your refrigerator. It's got our phone number. If you need us, call us. Follow us on Facebook. And then just talk to them and just say, hey, now that I've got you, you brought me here. Right. How could we make your neighborhood better? Yep. And a lot of times they say, when you call, we call, you come. Right. And it's those little things that in bigger cities like where I came from, you don't get a chance to do that one-on-one interaction because it's like that old show MASH. It's meatball surgery. It's from one call to the next. Right. Here you get a chance. That's a dog on the beach. You can run that and truly turn the call into a community policing call, which is really, really cool.
Well, Chief, I thank you for your time.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
By the way, as we evolve too, man, this show is always a platform to, if you ever want to, you or anyone in the force that wants to come take a minute out.
I'll definitely come back. This is always open. I even brought my own soda. Next time,
that's my wife spoils. I don't know what that is. I think it's made from.
I don't know if that's on the
fairies in the mountains. See,
this was actually the tip that sank the Titanic.
Probably, yeah. Leave it to my wife to find something crazy. I have no idea.
Is it a fish?
She just flew back from overseas for you for that. So see. No, you got special booking because when people book, they usually have a form to fill out, and one of them on there is like beverage of choice. Oh, you behaved for the record. There was no Jack Daniels in there. This was real Coke. What do you got there? Is it cherry Coke?
No, it's the orange vanilla.
Dang, okay,
Coke Zero. Right. Yeah, I don't
spicing it up there.
Not a big soda drinker, but I do like that one. And again, my
is that your caffeine intake, or are you a coffee guy?
I'm an iced coffee guy.
You like it?
I'm an iced coffee guy. So, you talk just to finish it up. But like today, my administrative assistant went over and got power bars from Publix.
For you guys
for the 4th of July, and the power bars go in the coolers.
Smart.
On the hydration team. So every hour on the hour, dispatch reminds our officers to hydrate.
Yep.
And if you need a power bar, a water, a Gatorade, you don't have to leave your post. They just bring it to you. So she was over there, and thanks to Steve, the general manager over at Publix, helping us out and supporting law enforcement and the brothers and sisters we're bringing in. And Dee brought me back because she
There you
knows
go.
I hadn't had an iced coffee today. So
She knows how to spoil you.
she knows I was headed to the podcast. And she said, you got to keep your blood sugar up. I said, well, that's great, but it's 0 sugar. So,
Well, listen, if any of you find people that are celebrating your 4th in our little town and you see one of our fine police departments, give them a high five.
yeah, come over and say
For me.
hi. We're probably going to be sweaty.
Yeah, be a little sweaty.
So a high
So
five
will
is
they,
good.
though.
Fist bump, maybe elbow bump.
Just don't breathe deep.
Yeah,
do a-
because we'll be lathered up with sunblock.
And if you have any questions, concerns, I tagged the Facebook police
follow us
department.
on Facebook.
You've said the number a zillion times.
517-2024. That's
If
my
today
direct
was your
office
first
number.
time getting to know this man, then you're welcome. A and
Oh,
B,
man.
keep it going because you've been a wonderful guy to me. And like I said, my family loves you. My friends and my viewers are so stoked to have you on. And you beat Sheriff Staly right at the last minute. He had booked, and I was like, I didn't know when I was going to have you.
I'm not going to tell him. You can tell him. No, actually, I think I'll rub it in. I think I'll rub it in because he's funny because he'll say, "Hey, I saw you put a video out on Facebook,"
and he'll go,
and he'll say, "Well, you only got 8,000 reaches, but I had 11,000." So
we'll see.
Again, that's that mentoring where he lets you know that hey, he's got a sense of humor. He really does.
He does. Well, you too. Well, once again, man, thank you again. Anything I can ever do, we're here. But I think did we do good? Did we
That's
cover?
Awesome. We did everything that I thought we would
do. We'll go do it. So now we got to boom. Oh, look, we didn't even get kicked off the whole time.
Unbelievable.
See, good luck. Boom, boom.